Morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Friday, May 19, 2017. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please go to CATEX TV. The giant Spanish insurer and reinsurer Mapfre has seen its shares drop by nearly 5% on the Madrid Stock Exchange earlier today. This is after being weighed down by its exposure to Brazil, where political instability is rampant at the moment. Brazilian President Michel Temer has been accused of corruption after local media reported he had endorsed bribes to a jailed politician. Mapfre had written about $1.3 billion U.S. of gross premiums in Brazil over the first quarter of 2017. They also had about 4.7 billion euros of investments in real estate and cash in Brazil, as well as about $3.7 billion of that in Brazilian government debt. The Brazilian book of business grew by about 34% over the first 3 months of this year as Mapfre ramped up his underwriting in the country. Meanwhile, in the country itself, the president is now under investigation by the Supreme Court for authorizing bribe payments to a jailed former party ally. Temer went on television yesterday afternoon and said that he would not resign. The Brazilian stocks and the currency tumbled throughout the day, and following Temer's appearance on TV, protests broke out across the country late into the night. 4 automakers agreed to a $553 million settlement to address class action economic loss claims covering owners of nearly 16 million vehicles that had been recalled because of defective Takata airbag inflators. The settlements came from Toyota Motors, which is going to get $278 million, BMW, which will get $131 million, Mazda, which will get $76 million, and Subaru, which will get $68 million. This does not mean the end of the road for Takata, but it is the removal of a significant headache. Honda and Ford and Nissan still have not settled. 3 people were taken to a hospital yesterday afternoon when a fire broke out at an amphitheater in Mountain View, California, in Silicon Valley, where Google was holding a conference. The fire was reported just before 4 p.m. at the Shoreline Amphitheater, which has a capacity of 22,000 people. 6 people were injured. 3 were taken to a hospital. The event occurred during Google's I/O conference, an annual gathering of developers that has taken place since 2008. The injured people were event staff personnel, not Google employees. And a little bit of a bombshell, the Swedish Attorney General has dropped the rape charges that have been pending against WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. Assange, of course, has been holed up in the Ecuadorian embassy in London for the past 5 years. Outside sits a fairly large British police presence that is intent on arresting him for evading an international arrest warrant. Now that the charges have been dropped, it's expected that Assange will finally emerge from the embassy. He will then face only a charge from the British police of having avoided a warrant, not the more serious charge of rape. The plaintiff in the case in Sweden said that she was shocked by the decision. Millions of Iranians are heading to the polls starting yesterday and into today and tomorrow to vote in an early sign of a very strong turnout in an unexpectedly tight presidential election that's going to determine the future of Iran. The incumbent Hassan Rouhani wants to continue to normalize ties with the West. He's competing against a hardline judge who says that Rouhani has gone too far and sold out the values of Iran's Islamic revolution to its enemies. The opponent is a judge who is named Raisi. Raisi says, however, that he will respect the decision of the electorate. It's thought that the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, tacitly endorsed Judge Raisi. Much of northern China is in the grip of a heat wave, forcing authorities to issue a yellow alert. It's the lowest of the 4-tier warning system. Temperatures in Beijing and Tianjin have been about 95 degrees or so Fahrenheit for the past several days. It's not expected to break until Monday, when it's going to go down to the high 60s. The hot weather is doing nothing for the country's poor air quality, which continues to remain in very difficult straits. Donald Trump is leaving later today for his first foreign trip. He's going on a 9-day visit to Saudi Arabia, Israel, the Vatican, a NATO meeting in Brussels, and a group of 7 meeting in Sicily. Trump departs the United States with chaos behind him. Yesterday, the Justice Department named Robert Mueller, the former FBI director, to serve as a special prosecutor to investigate claims of collusion between Russia and the Trump campaign. The world is watching with bated breath, at least in the United States, to see what missteps, mishaps, mistakes, and errors Trump will make on this trip. It's known that Trump does not want to go on the trip. He's grousing to aides that he's being forced to go and does not want to leave the White House and would prefer to go to Mar-a-Lago in Florida, where he usually spends his weekends. This will be an interesting next 9 days. Thank you for watching. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. We'll see you on Monday.